Welcome, and thank you for watching the QIES User ID Registration Process Training Module. The goal of this training is to educate new users regarding the process of registering for a QIES Individual User ID, which will also be called the Hospice User ID in this training module. Prior to registering for the QIES User ID, you must already have obtained a CMSNet User ID. The QIES User ID allows access to the ASAP system to submit HIS records and to the CASPR reporting application to obtain HIS reports. Only personnel responsible for submitting HIS records or viewing associated reports should register for a QIES User ID. The QIES User ID is the second of two separate required user IDs. Before beginning the registration process, you should have your provider's CCN or CMS certification number available. It is recommended that you verify the CCN with your business office prior to registration. To begin, you must log into the CMS network using your CMSNet user ID and password to access the CMS Key Systems for Providers Hospice Welcome page. This is the CMS Key Systems for Providers Hospice Welcome page. It contains several links. A link to the Hospice User Registration System, where you will register for your QIES User ID. A link to the Hospice Submission System, where you will submit the HIS records. And a link to the CASPR reporting system, where you will obtain your HIS final validation report and other valuable hospice reports. Additional training about this page and the hospice submissions and CASPR reporting application are available in additional training modules. For this training module, select the Hospice User Registration link and the Provider User ID registration form displays. While this page contains several links, the focus of this training will be on the following. The registration link allows access to the Provider User ID registration page. The activation link allows access to the Provider User ID activation page. The User's Guide link allows access to the online User's Guide for the Provider User ID registration application. It is important to note that all fields marked with an asterisk are required. The Access Type drop-down box contains several options. You will select Hospice for your provider type. Enter your provider's CCN. A hospice CCN is a 6-digit number. Please verify with your business office that you have the correct CCN prior to entering the CCN value. Enter your first name in the User First Name field. Enter your last name in the User Last Name field. Enter your birth date in the Birth Date field. You must enter the date in the MMDD/YYYY format with forward slashes. Enter your Social Security number in the SSN field. The SSN must be entered without dashes or spaces. Enter your home street address or P.O. box, city, state, and postal zip code in the Home Address field. Enter your 10-digit work phone number without dashes or spaces in the phone number field. Enter your email address in the email address field. Re-enter your email address in the Re-enter email address field. Your password must meet specific password requirements. To view the password requirements, select the Password Rules button. Your password must meet the password rules listed. Select the OK button to close the box containing the password requirements. Your password and answers to the security questions are masked with solid black circles. Because you cannot visually review the information, you are required to re-enter each of these fields. Do not cut and paste from one field to the other, as you will copy any typos from the original field, and you will not know what was actually entered into the field. Enter your password in the password field. Re-enter your password in the Re-enter password field. Remember, it is important to commit your password to memory for future use. The following security questions will be used in the event you need to reset your password. Each security question has two boxes, the first for the initial response and the second box to confirm the security answer. Make sure that you will know the answers to these questions later when you may need them. Enter the name of the street where you grew up. Re-enter the name of the street where you grew up. Enter the name of the first school you attended. Re-enter the name of the first school you attended. Enter the city or town where your mother and father met. Re-enter the city or town where your mother and father met. Submit the form by selecting the Submit button. A successful registration pop-up box displays. Select the Enter key to close the box, and the confirmation of Hospice User ID registration page displays. As mentioned earlier, the QIES User ID and Hospice User ID references are used interchangeably. You should print and save the confirmation of Hospice User ID registration page for your records. You will need this to activate your account in the next step. To print the page, select the Print This Page link. The Confirmation of Hospice User ID registration page contains the following information: your new Hospice User ID, or QIES User ID, that will be used to access the QIES ASAP system, to submit HIS records, and to access the CASPER reporting application to obtain reports. You must enter the user ID exactly as it appears on the registration confirmation page when logging into these systems. Also displayed is some personal information you entered, and the email address listed is where the confirmation email will be sent. You must follow instructions in the confirmation email to activate the new user ID account. The Facility ID, or FAC ID, field contains your provider's unique identifier. This ID must be entered into the software used to create the HIS records for submission to the ASAP system. this is an important number required for your HIS software. The bottom of the confirmation page contains important notes. Your account must be activated before use. An activation key has been sent to the email you provided. You may need to log out of this system to access your email. You may access the activation link on the top of this page to proceed with activation. Both the user ID on this page and the activation key in the email are required for account activation. This is a personal account. Do not share your individual user ID or password. Your user ID allows you to access the hospice submissions and CASPER reporting application. The facility ID or FAC ID must be entered into your software for record submissions. You will receive a confirmation email to the email address you supplied during the QIES user ID registration process. The confirmation email provides you important information about activating your new QIES Hospice user ID. Included in the email is the following information: a link to the activation webpage, the activation key, and the activation complete date. You must activate your user ID no later than the activation complete date identified in the email. To activate your account, select the activation webpage link in the email, or select the activation link in the menu bar if you are still in the Provider User ID registration application. Enter your new QIES Hospice user ID from the registration confirmation page into the user ID field. Highlight and copy the activation key value from the email confirmation